All right, let's look at our civilization in a totally new way. I mean, forget countries, forget politics, forget all of that for a second. Instead, picture it as one single living machine, a machine that literally wraps around the entire planet. So, the core idea here is that our whole world operates like one giant organism. Seriously, it breathes in energy, it uses that energy to build complex structures, and it even creates meaning. But, and this is a big but, just like any living thing, it has to pay a price. And that price is heat and waste. It's a really powerful way to look at things. And I promise you, once you see it this way, you can't unsee it. Okay, so if we're going to understand this whole planetary metabolism thing, we first have to get a handle on the rules of the game. You could call it the universe's accounting system. Because really, the story of, well, everything, from a single star to a single cell, is all about a fundamental conflict. A battle governed by two universal laws. You might even call them two cosmic ledgers. So on one side of the ledger, you've got Boltzmann entropy. This is the one you probably know from physics class. It's the universal law that says everything, and I mean everything, tends to fall apart. It drifts from order into chaos. It's literally why your coffee gets cold. But then, on the other side, you've got something called Shannon entropy. And this one's different. It's not about physical mess, it's about informational mess. It's a measure of surprise, of uncertainty. The less you know about something, the higher its Shannon entropy. And right here, in the space between those two ledgers, is where we find life's secret hack. Life is basically the only process we know of that figured out how to trade between them. Think about it. Life reduces that informational uncertainty. It learns, it creates patterns, it gathers knowledge, and then it cashes in that knowledge to build a temporary wall against physical chaos, creating these little pockets of order in a universe that wants to tear them down. Now, here's the crucial part. Life doesn't defeat entropy. It can't. That's impossible. Instead, it plays this incredibly clever game of arbitrage. It builds a small, beautiful, intricate structure, like a cell, or, a city. But it does this by making an even bigger mess somewhere else. It's basically a cosmic shell game. And as far as we know, it's the only game in town. So if life is playing this cosmic game of arbitraging entropy, what's the actual machine it uses to do it? Well, biology perfected this microscopic engine billions of years ago. And the amazing thing is, it's running inside pretty much every single cell in your body right this second. And, the goal of this little machine isn't to win some final epic victory over chaos. That's a fool's errand, a losing battle from the start. No, the goal is so much more subtle, and frankly, way more beautiful. It's just to slow down the inevitable, to hold the universe still for just a moment longer than it's supposed to. This machine has a name. It's called the electron transport chain. You can think of it as the power plant for the cell, and it's got 4 really critical jobs. First, it keeps a steep energy difference, a gradient, so things don't just flatten out and become useless. Then, it uses that gradient to slow down decay right where it is, locally. While it's doing that, it extracts useful work, real energy. And finally, and this is key, it exports all the mess, all the disorder and waste heat it creates, back out into the environment. And that really is the core principle right there. Think about it. If you just let a high-energy electron fall all at once, you just get a flash of heat. Poof! It's useless chaos. But if you make it walk down a carefully structured staircase, step by step, well then life can capture a little bit of useful work at every single step. That controlled fall, that's the secret sauce. Okay, so we have this amazing biological template. Now let's do what we said we'd do at the start. Let's zoom out, all the way out. Because the central idea we're exploring today is that our civilization didn't actually invent a new trick. Not at all. It just took that exact same biological machine and scaled it up and up and up until it wrapped the entire planet. So what are the big energy gradients that our planetary machine taps into? Well, you've got the obvious ones, right? The incredible concentrated energy in fossil fuels, the constant influx of power from the sun. But this model goes way deeper. It also includes the more abstract gradients, like the massive potential energy stored in wealth differences, or in gaps in information, and even the collective attention of all of humanity. And what's our version of that cellular staircase? It's our entire global infrastructure. Yeah, think about it. Power grids, shipping lanes, financial markets, data centers, all of it. That is our redox ladder. It's a massive, planet-spanning machine designed to do the exact same thing. manage the controlled fall of energy from all those gradients, extracting useful work at every single step. This way of looking at the world also gives us a completely radical new way to understand money. Because in this model, money is not what we think it is, at all. And to really get why, we need to grab one more quick concept from chemistry. Okay, so in chemistry, there's this idea called redox potential. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. All it is a measure of stored potential, the ability to make something happen, to get work done. The perfect analogy is the charge in a battery before you plug it in. And here it is, the big reveal. Money isn't value. It's not. Money is just a symbol for stored redox potential. It's a social agreement, a token that gives you permission to command energy and direct work somewhere in this global machine, but at a later time. That dollar bill in your pocket, it's just a claim on a future controlled fall of energy. And when you start thinking about money this way, suddenly all of our big economic problems start to look like, well, metabolic failures. What's inflation? It's a collapse of the energy gradient. Your money just can't command as much work anymore. A recession? That's a stalled flow of electrons through the system. And an ecological crisis? That's what happens when the machine's exhaust, its waste, overwhelms the environment's ability to absorb. Okay, so into this already mind-bogglingly complex planetary machine, we've just thrown a brand new and totally unprecedented element: artificial intelligence. And if we want to understand what AI is really doing, we have to be super precise about the role it's playing. First, let's be clear what AI is not. It is not a new electron transport chain. It doesn't create new energy gradients out of thin air. No, AI is a catalyst. In biology, there's this little molecule called coenzyme Q, and its job is to be a super fast mobile shuttle zipping back and forth, speeding up how fast electrons move along the chain. That is AI's role. It's a universal shuttle for our global machine, and its job is to dramatically accelerate everything that's already happening. And that has some pretty profound consequences, right? AI speeds up how fast we can exploit all of our gradients, the financial ones, the informational ones, the energetic ones. But here's the thing about a catalyst. It's neutral. It doesn't care. It just magnifies whatever reaction it's dropped into, which means AI will amplify the good stuff and the bad stuff with exactly the same terrifying efficiency. It accelerates progress, for sure, but it can also accelerate collapse. Which, of course, leads us to what is maybe the single most important question of our time. The game isn't about can we build more powerful AI anymore. We know we can. The real question is, can we develop the wisdom, the systems, to actually regulate what we choose to accelerate? Can we put guardrails on this thing? So, what do? Faced with this machine that's accelerating faster and faster, where do we even look for an answer? Well, we have to turn to something that's uniquely human, a kind of countercurrent that we've been building for thousands of years against that universal drift into chaos. If entropy is that constant slide towards randomness and disorder, then art. Art is our technology for fighting back. And I mean that literally. It's not just decoration. It's a functional system. Art is how we organize attention. It's a compression algorithm for messy, complex human experience, packing it into a durable form that can travel across time and space. It's how we make meaning stick. So let's bring this all the way back to our main idea. You could say that art is our emotional electron transport chain. It takes the high chaotic energy of raw human experience, and it carefully steps it down through structure, things like rhythm and narrative and form. And in doing so, it creates shared meaning. Just like that tiny machine in our cells, it slows the fall. So in the end, we're left with a choice, a really big one. Each of us is a small component in this massive global chain. We can take our new tools, our new catalysts like AI, and just accelerate everything, burn through every gradient we can find, burn through all our potential in one brilliant but very short-lived flash. Or we can choose to invest in the slower, much harder work of building meaning, of strengthening those cultural and emotional transport chains. The future, it seems, isn't really a debate to be won. It's a design problem to be solved.